Yeah, my name is Jerry. I'd like to thank you all for being here in the first place, and I like what you've all been saying today, but I'd like to go back a little bit in history and change the subject a little bit here. There are some more important things, like number one is energy independence, and a lot of our garbage that we are doing in this country will disappear. The other thing is terrorism. The people in the Middle East have been killing Americans since 1968. And the first person they killed could have been the President of the United States, Robert Kennedy. As far as gasification goes, President Eisenhower, 1954, 56, in between there, he sent people over to Germany. During World War II, Germany produced 25% of its fuel from coal. Why can't we do it? Eisenhower built a plant someplace in Kentucky. It was producing 1,000 barrels a day in 1954 or 56. From there on, the lobbyists and the oil companies put a kibosh on it. That's over 50 years. We could have been independent. 1973, the Arabs turned off the oil. We did nothing, both parties. And today, what do we got? 50% from Canada? Thank God it's coming from Canada, not the Middle East. At least you can depend on the Canadians. All right, terrorism. Hijackings. All Middle Eastern people, except a few wackos from the United States that wanted to go to Cuba. God bless them and good riddance. Okay. Jimmy Carter. Tehran. They took our embassy. 144 days.
Sir, in the interest of time, is there a question?
Yeah, what are you going to do about all this stuff? Oh, and one other thing. If you guys don't get elected, you can always go work for the post office. They're only going to lay off between 200 and 300,000 people in the next year and a half.
Gentlemen, in the interest of time, too, can I ask you to keep your answers to about 30 seconds so we can get a few more questions? Thank you.
Good questions.
A couple things. I'm 100% opposed to cap and trade or cap and tax that many people talk about. It's absolutely the wrong way to go. What we need to do is push American ingenuity. We need to continue pushing and encouraging advancement right here in America. We need to use all the resources that we've got. We haven't cited a refinery for decades. We haven't cited a nuclear plant for decades. Other countries are doing a much better job of looking at new energy options. We need to do the same here. We need to be less dependent or completely independent from foreign oil and the chokehold they have on us. And it ties together with everything else that we're talking about here as well. I agree too that we absolutely have to tighten our borders, know who's coming in and out, have some communication between our departments out there. Again, it drives me crazy when foreign countries know more about terrorists coming into our nation than our departments do. So that's got to stop. We need someone who's saying enough, and we're going to make sure that people who are fighting for Homeland Security are really doing their job.
Thanks, Randy. We'll get a couple more in. Did you want to respond? Or so more people get questions in.
Okay, I have a quick question for Randy and Chris. I'm a former teacher, and is it I'm not sure if my understanding is correct, but is the teacher's pension plan the only plan that doesn't have limitations where you can't take it out and just give it to anybody? This is what I heard years ago, that it was the only pension system in the state of Illinois where the government, state government, could take money out of that the teacher's pension plan and put it wherever they wanted to. And then Paul Powell and a couple of our other governors did that. Is that correct or not?
Very briefly, it's not that they take the money out, it's that they never put the money in the first place, so they underfund it. And it's true about the teachers' funds and the other 4 state funds. So it's just a mess. And again, broken commitment when you make a promise to a group of people and then you don't fund those promises.
Yes, I'd like to thank the Huntley Tea Party for hosting this event. We came down from My wife and I came down from McHenry. We're members of a grassroots organization up there that's grown to 3,000 people. The sign says November is coming. As far as we're concerned, the work begins in November, it doesn't end. Because every person we elect to office should be held accountable and their feet held to the fire. I don't care who they are. Mr. Mayor, I would tell you that I respect you for showing up. You stood in front of the fire and you stood your ground. Thank you for being here. But I would ask the four gentlemen, we've talked about term limits. And are we not in the position we're in now because the electorate has gotten lazy? We've become complacent. We've become withdrawn. I think term limits personally would make us more lazy because we know that for 2 years we can put up with anyone. Seems to me if we get term limits, then we could check out of the net again and become lazy.
We have
term limits in our hands, that's the key. But we elect officials and then we don't hold them accountable.
Sir, I'm sorry, can you get to your question, please?
Yes, I